There are certain vices that do not destroy the soul, but reveal it. Vices that only the chosen souls carry, those who were born with the quiet, invisible mission of awakening. And today, I want to show you 5 of these so-called vices that are not mistakes at all, but hidden signs that your spirit is trying to remind you of who you truly are. Listen carefully, because the 5th one is the most intense of all, the darkest, the most misunderstood, the one that convinces you that you're falling, when in reality, you're transforming into something far greater than you can comprehend right now. The first vice carried only by awakened souls is doubt, but not ordinary doubt. I'm talking about that deep, unsettling, almost dangerous kind of doubt that rises in your chest when something simply doesn't align, even when everyone around you swears that nothing is wrong. Carl Jung believed doubt is the crack through which the light enters, because only the one who questions is capable of discovering their own truth. You've spent your entire life questioning everything. The rules you were told to follow, the beliefs you were taught to accept, the institutions that claim authority, the promises that never matched reality, and even your own thoughts when they felt borrowed or imposed. While most people find safety in repeating what others say, you can't. Your soul refuses to let you rest inside what feels false. You need to know. You need to feel the truth as something real, resonating from within, rather than imposed from outside. And here is the part that many never understand. Sacred doubt doesn't destroy you. It awakens you. It pushes you to look beyond the veil, beyond the stories you were told as a child, beyond what your family, society, or even religion insisted you should believe. Others may accuse you of being distrustful, rebellious, or difficult, but deep down, you know this restlessness doesn't come from your mind. It comes from your spirit. Because what you call doubt is actually sensitivity, the ability to feel when something is real and when something is merely repeated. It is your soul recognizing that there is something larger behind what your eyes can see. Most people live in a kind of sleep because they accept everything without asking anything. But you can't. You are incapable of accepting, and that's just the way things are, without looking beneath the surface. And even though this makes your journey heavier, it is also a gift. A painful gift, yes, but still a gift. Sacred doubt doesn't separate you from God. It separates you from the lies that kept you away from Him. Doubt pushes you to search, to investigate, to break the molds that suffocate your authenticity, to challenge what looks correct on the surface but feels wrong in your inner world. And this path, this hunger for truth, will sometimes leave you standing alone, because not everyone can endure life without simple certainties. But listen carefully to this. Chosen souls were never given the comfort of blind faith. They were given the privilege and the weight of finding their own path toward truth. Jung understood this deeply. Complex and profound souls must question everything in order to awaken. Because when you force yourself to accept something that doesn't resonate, you dim your own light. And when you dare to ask the questions no one else will ask, you are reborn from within. The second vice, carried only by chosen souls, is inner chaos. Not simple confusion, not ordinary stress, not the emotional disarray that anyone might experience, but a profound whirlwind that only a few could ever endure. Carl Jung said that inside every soul, destined to awaken, lives a storm, an untamed force that can destroy you if you fail to understand it, but can completely transform you if you learn to listen to it. And that storm lives in you. You've felt it for as long as you can remember, that constant inner noise that refuses to quiet down, that emotional intensity that never fully dimmed, that mind that doesn't rest even when your body does. Sometimes you look at others and wonder why you can't be like them. Calm, predictable, steady, unshaken. Why do you feel everything so intensely? Why does everything affect you so deeply? Why does every experience move something inside you, as if your soul were made of a more sensitive, more vibrant, more electric fabric? And here is the truth. It is. Your soul is built exactly that way. Chosen souls are not born in peace. They are born in battle. Their spirit holds an energy they don't yet know how to use, a power they don't know how to direct, a mission their memory hasn't recovered. And that forgetting hurts. That forgetting creates the storm. The world looks at your intensity and calls it instability. It looks at your emotions and calls them drama. It looks at your restless mind and calls it a problem. But what they call disorder is preparation. What they call exaggeration is spiritual sensitivity. What they label as chaos is the movement of the soul right before awakening. Jung understood this better than anyone. The shadow always shakes when the light is about to be born, and you have felt that truth in your own skin. Just before every major change, your inner world breaks apart, trembles, ignites. It's not a coincidence. It's your soul pushing you toward a different version of yourself. Inner chaos is a vice only for those who don't know how to read it. But for chosen souls, it is a code, a language. It is telling you that you do not belong to the superficial, that you were not made to repeat patterns. Your soul is trying to free you from a life that has already become too small for who you are becoming. That is why, even when everything outside you is calm, something inside you remains restless, because your spirit responds to what is coming, not to what already exists. The third vice carried only by chosen souls is voluntary isolation, not simple loneliness, but a silent retreat that arrives without warning. From one day to the next, you no longer want to talk, you no longer want to socialize, you no longer want to be where you once fit perfectly. The world hasn't failed you. Your soul has begun to move. Carl Jung said that when the unconscious wants to reveal something important, it pulls you away from the noise, and you have felt that pull. That strange impulse to disappear for a while, to take shelter within yourself, to turn off everything external so you can finally hear what's happening inside. The world doesn't understand this. They think you're distancing yourself out of coldness, sadness, or indifference, but you know that isn't true. What pulls you away is not people. It is the deep need to find yourself again. It is a silent calling, one you don't hear with your ears, but with your soul. Chosen souls isolate themselves before they awaken, almost as if something within them knows that transformation can only happen when you are alone with yourself. In that isolation, there is discomfort. Yes, there are questions, confusion, emptiness. But there is also truth, because it is in that space, without voices, without expectations, without masks, that the scattered pieces of your purpose begin to appear. Jung explained it simply. Loneliness is not the absence of company. It is the presence of oneself. And when you isolate yourself, you begin to hear yourself for the first time in a very long time. Don't punish yourself for wanting to be alone. You are not running away from the world. You are returning to your center. You are not breaking bonds. You are clearing your energy. Voluntary isolation is an involuntary spiritual retreat, a silent preparation for everything that is about to enter your life. Ordinary souls fade in solitude. Chosen souls are reborn in it. The fourth vice, carried only by chosen souls, is the self-destruction of the old self. It is not a vice visible from the outside. It doesn't look like a bad habit or a strange behavior. It is something internal, quiet, almost invisible. It is a force that pushes you to break everything, just when your life seems to be stabilizing. That sudden impulse to quit, to walk away, to cut ties, to abandon what no longer resonates. Jung said that the soul destroys what no longer serves you when your consciousness is too afraid to do it. And that is exactly what happens to you. You felt that moment when something inside you begins to crumble, even though everything on the outside looks perfectly fine. Relationships you can no longer sustain, jobs that suddenly suffocate you, situations that you once tolerated and now feel unbearable. It isn't whim, it isn't instability, it isn't immaturity. It is your spirit shouting, "This is no longer who you are." The world calls it sabotage. You feel it as loss. But in truth, it is transformation. You are destroying the version of yourself that once helped you survive, but now prevents you from awakening. The self-destruction of the old self is painful because it breaks you exactly where it hurts most. Your certainties, your routines, your identities, your attachments. Yet, it is necessary. Jung described it as a process of individuation, a stage where your soul pushes you to stop being who you were so you can finally become who you truly are. And yes, it hurts. Letting go always hurts. But staying trapped in a character that no longer feels like you hurts even more. Have you noticed how clarity appears right after breaking down? Have you seen how a new path opens right after destroying a part of your life? Have you felt how, behind every loss, a more honest version of yourself was waiting? That is the self-destruction of the old self, a divine process disguised as chaos. You are not failing. You are making space. You are not going backwards. You are preparing the ground. Ordinary souls cling to what they know. Chosen souls allow what must die to die, because they understand, sometimes without fully knowing how, that every destruction is followed by a rebirth. The fifth vice, the most misunderstood, the most judged, the most feared, and at the same time the most powerful, is the escape through the flesh. I'm not speaking only about desire, nor solely about lust, nor exclusively about addictions. I'm talking about that force that pushes you toward excesses you don't fully understand, impulses that burn inside you, decisions that confuse you, pleasures that pull you in as if something deep within was searching for a way to slip out through any crack it can find. Jung described this as an unconscious discharge, an overflow of energy that the mind cannot yet interpret. When the soul is filled with spiritual energy that you have not learned to channel, that energy leaks through the body, and that leakage can turn into a vice. You've felt it before. That need to experience something intense, something immediate, something that makes you feel alive for even a second, even if guilt arrives right after. It isn't weakness. It isn't depravity. It isn't a lack of willpower. It is your spirit trying to survive inside a life that still doesn't match who you truly are. When a chosen soul feels trapped, empty, or disconnected, it seeks relief in whatever is closest. Meaningless encounters, substances, excess, impulses that seem self-destructive. But in reality, they aren't desire. They are screams, screams from a soul that can no longer endure the lie it is living. The world points fingers at you for this vice. People judge you, criticize you, condemn you, but they will never understand that what they call sin is actually evidence that your spirit is trying to break free. Jung said that when we repress what is divine within us, it becomes shadow, and the shadow, when it has no path outward, seeks doors through the body. That is why the escape through the flesh is so dangerous, because it is not a vice of the body at all, but a vice born from a tired soul. And if the voice of that soul isn't heard, it returns even stronger, demanding attention. But here is the truth no one tells you. Behind this vice lies power, immense power. Your impulses are intense because your spirit is intense. Your energy is strong because your purpose is strong. Your desires run deep because your soul itself is deep. Ordinary souls live lukewarm lives. Chosen souls burn. And that fire, when you deny it, scorches you. But when you finally recognize it, it reshapes you. Because this escape through the flesh is not a punishment. It's an urgent signal that your soul is begging for a real change, for an honest life, for a true purpose, for a direction that finally aligns with who you are on the inside. This vice does not make you impure. It does not make you weak. It does not make you unworthy. This vice reveals you. It shows you that inside you lives an intensity that has not yet found its destiny. And once it finds it, that same energy that overwhelms you today will be the very force that illuminates the path ahead. If you have made it this far, then now you know. These vices didn't appear to destroy you. They appeared to awaken you. Every doubt, every storm, every moment of isolation, every breakup, every impulse you couldn't explain were messages, signals that your soul is not ordinary. They were reminders that you were chosen to carry a light you haven't fully remembered yet. Carl Jung said that the darker the shadow, the greater the light that is trying to emerge. And now you understand why your path has been so intense. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. If any of these 5 vices live within you, don't hide from them. Observe them, embrace them, because within those shadows lies the truth you've been seeking. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share your thoughts in the comments.